Ed, I want to talk about some of my favourite books published in the last few years, but I can't think of an excuse to make a video on it.
I mean, it is 2025. We could talk about best books of the decade.
We could talk about all the decades.
I think let's just start with the 2020s.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Don't be hasty.
Now don't be hasty, Master Myriad.
Readers, reviewers,
Countrymen,
lend us your ears.
And a huge thank you to all of our Patreons.
thank you to the Pit Fighters, the First Swords, and all of the Bright Stars, Truth and Courage.
Hello and welcome to the channel today. I'm Will, this is my brother Ed. Together we make the Brothers Gwynne, and we're doing a top 10 because we love to talk about our favourite books of all time.
Isn't it?
It's unlike us. I know we do quite a few, but it's for a good reason. We love to spread the book love.
Yeah.
Who needs to be negative when you can do a video on a positive? And so we want to talk about our favourite books published in the 2020s. Maybe we'll do it for each decade, but we're starting with the most recent ones. There's going to be 2 videos. Today we're talking about our 10th favourite to our 5th favourite. You know the gist. Let's stop waffling. Let's get into the books and probably waffle about then. Ed, what
Makes
is
me hungry,
our...
Will. I do love a waffle. Number 10 is actually joint, which is rare. We've actually gone through the list together. So, Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. Now, when I think of this series, I look back on it fondly, and I always will.
At least you got it over the joke straight away because, you know, sometimes I'm just scared of when you're going to interrupt me and you say the joke. Anyway, Jade Legacy, the finale of the Green Bone Saga, Book 3. Quite divisive, actually. I've seen some people don't like it, some people love it because there are some big, bold, brave decisions, and for me, they pay off. First of all, love the cover. It's blue, but that's not why it's on the list. If you're not screaming no in Jade War and Jade Legacy, you're doing something wrong, as I've said before, because there are twists and turns of characters you are now very invested in. This is brave in that we follow these characters over a long span of years, decades even. And so you've got a lot of them getting older, some people retiring, others, children joining the ranks. And so you're kind of balancing kind of the reader being invested and kind of understanding the politics of the time. And then it changing so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the stress in this book made my hair go grey. And it really is quite an explosive book. There are some truly incredible scenes here. I love the character arcs. I love Fonda Lee's writing style in Jade Legacy. I do feel like her writing style has really changed over the course of the trilogy, where Jade City is incredibly, I would say, info dumpy. I would say far more focused on the plot, but kind of holds the reader's hand or grabs their wrist and says, look at this, think this. But by the time you get to Jade Legacy, it is a really strong, confident writing style that really lends itself to the fantasy genre and to this crazy plot that really does take off.
And it is a wide cast of characters who really stand out. Fonda Lee is one of those rare authors with the ability to make characters feel unique and really stay in the memory after just meeting them for a few pages. Some of them I feel like you don't get as much love and depth for them over time, other than one or two of the central figures, but definitely that first impression is fantastic. And as this involves quite a wide cast, it is a weapon that she really needed to use in her arsenal.
Love it.
I'm going to break tradition and actually go first because Ed, you always go before me in these videos. Well, and I cannot wait to talk.
The oldest does go first, Will.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I win. Number 9.
Damn it!
Younger Brother Takes Over. I've read this book because it's got my name in it. It is The Will of the Many. This was published in 2023, I believe. It's book 1 of the hierarchy. Book 2, The Strength of the Few, is coming out very, very soon. We had to do this video now because there's a few upcoming releases that I think will dominate the list. And it'll get rid of these. We could just do another version next year. Anyway, The Will of the Many. Book 1 of the hierarchy. It is all the rage, all the hype at the moment, and it is worth it in my opinion. It is breakneck pace. It is an immersive world which is inspired by the Romans but very different. It is a very intriguing magic system and it has standout characters. It's got twists and turns left, right and centre and behind you as well. I do. That you'll see that I really like a twisty turny thing. Will of the Many is everything people have been saying about it, and it's great for new beginner fantasy readers and veterans of the genre as well. I really enjoy the writing style. I love the idea of a character being put into a position of subterfuge, and so you've got this additional tension alongside kind of the individual character relationships and the plot and the progression in that way. Above it all, you've got this looming dread that if they are unveiled, everything will turn on its head and change very, very quickly. So you've got this tension brimming in the background, and it is a bit of a cheat code. It's like with Red Rising. That's how I feel with that. Yeah. And it's just a fantastic book one. Everything you could want a book one to be. I cannot wait to power on with the series.
So many blue books here. This is my number 9th pick. It is The House with the Golden Door by Elodie Harper. This to me is my favourite book of the Wolf Den trilogy by, of course, Elodie Harper. It is set in during the Roman Empire. We have the character of Amara, who is working as a slave, and by book 2 she is in some very interesting places in society, and it is a really heartbreaking, heart-aching read. It focuses on the themes of sisterhood and betrayal as well, and how people's experiences, not their actions, can lead them into really horrifying places. So The House of the Golden Door, it has the perfect balance of plot and character progression. It has tension rammed up so much, and there are not many swords, to be honest, so
it's true.
Their tension's even higher, I think. Now, when the main character is in such a position that they are literally unable to defend themselves from pretty much anything apart from trying to use their wit, you feel a new kind of fear. I think that as a primarily fantasy-based reader, you don't really see too much. Usually we're reading about these great warriors, about the Aragorns and the Geralt of Rivias, and people who can kind of face anything. But when you read about Amara, she is so vulnerable, and seeing her relationships forming and crumbling with the other cast members, it makes you feel so many different emotions. I would say the pacing here is perfection. If you want to study a book 2, if your writing wants to know how to get away from second book syndrome, then read House with the Golden Door.
Very nice. So that is awesome. Can I look after that? Because you
could look after it.
It's one of my additions, and who knows,
very precious.
Maybe we'll see it a bit later. Number 8 for me is A Fool's Hope by Mike
Another
Shackle.
blue book, Will.
Book 2 of the Last War trilogy, and Broken Binding added some more lovely blue on the sides. This is book 2 of the Last War trilogy by Mike Shackle. This is just the premise of if the bad guys won, what if Sauron took over the Shire? Awful thought, but this is the aftermath. Book 1, We Are the Dead, is one of the best book 1s you will ever read. It is basically following some characters, part of the former military, who are trying to fight against this new invading force. You've got people who are just part of a city and they're trying to liberate themselves and they're fighting as well. And then you've got people just trying to survive and they are dragged into the terrible events that are unfurling and made into a key chess piece. Book 2 carries on from that and continues the breakneck pace, standout characters, and whilst it's really, really dark, got moments of hope as well and characters you're obviously rooting for. I think with how dark moments are, if you didn't have that, it would just be nihilistic and it'd be too much. But there are figures who are really good people, and that makes the bad things feel even worse. But it also makes it worth reading because you think, I want them to get their comeuppance. I want them to come out on top and really show that the good side can win. You know, being good can get you into the leading hand sometimes. Yeah. Do you get that, Mike Shackle? Maybe. Fool's Hope also has one of the greatest subversions of the fantasy plot I've ever come across. I can't name it because it is a spoiler, but hopefully that can intrigue you to pick this up, because often in fantasy the critique is, we've seen these tropes before and they're done just again and again and put in a different skin. This isn't just a different skin, this is put into a different species, but the same trope, and it is just utilised so brilliantly, and the way that influences the plot is fantastic. It's not just to kind of assuage the fantasy reader and hook them in, it is utterly brilliant, and it is one of those books alongside The Will of the Many that you'll be reading late into the night because it's breakneck pace. Each chapter is pretty short and it ends on some new information being released, or a new drive, a new focus, a new bit of information, a revelation, anything that keeps you continuing, and you'll be so sleep deprived that you'll be hallucinating about this world, but hopefully only the good people in it, not the bad.
Another blue book.
Are you joking?
Number 8 for me is The Trouble with Peace.
5 in a row.
By Abercrombie. This is an incredible book too. I'm not the biggest fan of the Age of Madness trilogy, I think we would all say.
I mean, you are pushing 6 foot, Ed.
Thank you very much. But you just cannot deny the greatness of The Trouble with Peace. It has the best wrestling I've ever read. It has one of the best battles I've ever read right at the end as well. It is really gripping stuff. It's Joe Abercrombie. It feels like he fell back into his first lore. These characters are incredible. The dialogue is incredible. That kind of way of writing that was so natural. A Little Hatred kind of introduces a new cast, mainly the first cast's children.
Yeah.
And it just, for me, it didn't quite land. But seeing the cast and the characters in The Trouble with Peace, the plot, the way that it progresses, the way that it sets up book 3 as well, it is a fantastic book. And I think all of those different pieces put together, it means that The Trouble with Peace is one of my favourites, and it's one of my favourite Joe Abercrombie books. It's definitely him at the peak of his powers, I would say.
Probably the biggest battle.
It's one of the... Yeah, it's definitely probably probably the second biggest battle in Abercrombie's worlds.
What would you say is the biggest?
The biggest would have to be the Battle of the North. Do you not reckon?
I think this is bigger.
Really?
Well, the North are involved, Ed.
Yeah, but the stakes are higher, Will. They're just... Yeah, maybe this is kind of...
I think this is much bigger.
Maybe. Anyway, who gives a shit, Will? Who gives a shit? The Trouble with Peace is incredible, and another blue book. Will, what is your number 8, I believe?
Number 7, actually.
I'm so sorry. Oh, you're going first.
Look.
A turquoise, which is basically
We'll allow it.
blue.
We'll allow it.
Yeah.
Arthur is a standalone by Giles Kristian, which is an Arthurian retelling. It's actually part of a series of standalones, which is called the Arthurian Tales, but this is a self-contained story. 2 POV. We're following Arthur as a boy, which is a fantastic idea because this isn't kind of the T.H. White's, the once and future king kind of Arthur as a boy, very whimsical. It's definitely not as grim and broody and gritty, and it's in the dark ages of England.
You won't laugh once.
You maybe once, but only when something like bad happens to someone you really don't like.
Yeah,
and
true.
It's like a sad laugh in that, you know. Yeah, that'll be over in a second. But anyway, that's one POV, and the other is an old mercenary called Beren, and he is cynical, and he has been stripped of all innocence, and he is just basically just waking up each day, but not really living life. And then suddenly, as part of this mercenary band, he is tasked with killing a group with some others in his band, and killing a child, and he refuses to, and he recognises this child. Mm-hmm. And instead, he doesn't just try to save the child, he turns on those who are meant to kill the boy as well. He kills them, and he flees with the boy. And so, of course, there's going to be a lot of people hunting him down, but he recognises this boy could be the last hope to save Britain. And so they are the stakes, and we follow Beren as he's kind of leading this boy. He's got this conflict in his head of, is it worth it? Why is he doing this? He's slowly reliving his past, and you get these breadcrumbs into the man he used to be. And it's very deep and sentimental and lyrical and poetic, just like Arthurian legends should be, dripping with that tragedy and heroism intertwined with one another. Giles Kristian is always an exceptional writer, but this is him on his A game. Arthur's a fantastic book. Maybe the first bit of historical fiction in this video. We do like to read a lot of historical fiction, and this is the first glimpse you'll see into that in the best books of the decade of the 2020s so far.
William has beaten me to it, but I then have in my 7th position The Will of the Many. As Will said, I'm going to be repeating that quite often, I think, in this segment, but as Will said, the pacing is breakneck. As Will said, the characters have a lot of interest, have a lot of motivation.
Did it upset you to say that Will had said this first?
Yeah, I've got an allergic reaction. I literally, well, not literally, because that would be silly, but I ate this book. I ate it up, figuratively, metaphorically. The Will of the Many was eaten by me. No, I literally could not stop reading. And I actually couldn't stop reading. I had to finish it in one sitting.
Wow.
No, I didn't really. This is why I hate the word literally. Literally is a terrible word, isn't
Metaphorically, you read it in
yeah,
one
but
sitting.
who wants to go around saying, I metaphorically read it in one sitting? It's just silly,
when it's factually wrong.
Yeah, for the millionth time, stop exaggerating, Ed. The Will of the Many is one of the best books I've read of the decade. It is so exciting.
Really?
It is like Red Rising, but... Well, just different.
But blue. Oh no, orange in this case.
It's actually orange. But there is blue on there, so it's another blue book. Jade Islington had kind of a perfect understanding of pacing, of when to kind of trickle information to the reader, when to set up a crescendo, and the ending few pages like literally blew my mind. I loved it. It's a great book.
Oh dear. Number 6 is one that Ed has talked about. I won't get an allergic reaction.
I've literally spoken about this one.
This is, as Ed said, Amara with basically little to no agency. I'd say a similar book in terms of that is The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. I also think the prose is a little bit similar in the terms of approaching these characters in such dreadful situations, both slaves. It's a very difficult thing for an author to do. They have to be sensitive about it. And to relay that experience in a way which isn't so utterly harrowing to the reader that they don't want to carry on, but still true to the experiences. It's a very difficult thing and very brave from the authors to approach it, and I think they both do so very respectfully. And Amara, as a character of little to no agency, puts so much tension on each of her decisions because she's using her intellect, her intelligence, to try and make things better for herself, but also the sisterhood of friends that she has. She's such a good person, which makes the tragedy of what she's facing so much more painful. Elodie Harper is one of those authors alongside Pat Barker, Robin Hobb, who knows how to kind of pull you in, wrap you around their finger, and then manipulate your emotions like a puppet master. She's one of those. So it's always kind of scary picking up a book by Elodie Harper because you don't know what kind of emotional range you're going to be put through. There are moments of laughter and kindness, and you grin at moments of this, and then that is flipped
That's just
in
in
its
the
head.
title.
Yeah, that's but it's just an exceptional book. Book 2, again, my favourite of the Wolf Den trilogy. And I recently finished Boudicca's Daughter, another great read, not quite to the level of the Wolf Den in my opinion, but still Elodie Harper is just proving herself to be an exceptional writer.
Very nice. Well, I'm looking forward to reading Boudicca's Daughter. Number 6 for me is You Dreamed of Empires by Alvaro Enrique. Now, this is a book that's been translated into English. It is the story of Hernan Cortez as he is marching in 1519 into the Mayan capital, or Tenochtitlan, Aztec capital, sorry. It says Maya in here for some reason, but it is actually the Aztec Empire. Oh. Anyway, you have a smattering of POVs. You have Cortez, you also have Moctezuma and some others in the Aztec court, as well as within Cortez's kind of his unit. This is a crazy book. It's probably the most individual, unique book on this list. Probably the most that I've ever read. It is the most similar book to the film Sinners by Ryan Coogler that I would say. There's actually a scene that, like the very famous scene from Sinners, that really reminds me of a scene in this book. It is very weird, very unique. But yeah, it's not like a typical historical fiction where we've got a character entering a city, trying to forge alliances, the plot thickens kind of thing, and then an assassination. It's not like that whatsoever. You won't be able to guess what's going to happen in this book. Even if you know the history, there are some things that Alvaro Enrique, I think he's a very playful writer, and he really plays with a lot of things in the history, in the style of writing here, but I would say I was captured by it from the word go. Is something that I think you should just dive into. It's a very short book, so give it a go. And yeah, there's not too much else I can say about it apart from it is bonkers.
One that's definitely on my list, Ed.
Yeah, exactly. It gives Dizzy Rascal vibes. So, okay.
Number 5 for me, the last book I'm talking about in this video, is The Gates of Athens by Con Iggulden, my favourite book by him, and I've read I think 11 or 10 books by Con Iggulden. This is ancient Greece. Somehow it has marathon and Thermopylae and a lot of political intrigue in the same book. Without being, it does sound like a lot, but you know what? He somehow manages to not make it feel rushed, and it is exceptional. He is character driven in this book. Sometimes I think Con Iggulden gets he shows us the spectacle, like the Falcon of Sparta. I've really enjoyed that, but I didn't love it because it's more about the spectacle of kind of 10,000 Spartans escaping.
Yeah.
And instead of the characters at the centre.
They were just aura farming.
They were aura farming, basically, yeah. Whereas this is about the characters, but it's got huge, wide, epic implications. Of course, this is the Peloponnesian Wars, are arguably one of the most influential in history. What if the Greeks had lost Marathon? What if they had lost Thermopylae? What would have happened?
So the Peloponnesian Wars between Athens and Sparta fought in the space between Athens and Sparta, which the range of space there, the landscape is called the Peloponnese. It's fine though. It's right. The Persian Wars.
The Persian Wars is what I meant. The Gates of Athens, good luck, I've got a historian next to me. The Gates of Athens, as I said, is character driven, it's political intrigue just at its best. We've got Athens as a state, as a city, is democratic, more than other places, but definitely not democratic. And we've got three key characters who use their agency to influence what is going on. Sometimes it coming into direct conflict with the others. It is utterly exceptional, these three characters, how they interact, and these POVs, how their stories kind of engage with the epic moments, but from a perspective you may not expect. And then also the emotional beats as well, the smaller moments, the one-on-ones, and the build-up to these conflicts is just exceptional, which is why this is my 5th favourite publication of the decade.
Good choice, Will. And here, I think it might be a bit of a surprise for us to feature this on maybe a top 10 best books of the decade list, but it is Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I really did not expect to see this
No. On
your list
either.
at all, let alone so high up.
We need to say a big thank you to Eddie,
We do.
by the way, our Patreon, for sending us a signed copy. I've lost the page now. Oh no. It's
signed by the author, I promise.
The Brothers Gwynne! It's us! Thank you very much to Matt Dinniman for signing it. Thank you, Eddie,
Ohio
for
Ed.
supplying us with this amazing book. It's wicked. But, yeah, so Dungeon Crawler Carl, I can't say the name apart from saying it like that, so you're going to have to level with me. This is a crazy book. Almost as crazy as You Dreamed of Empires.
You're saying You Dreamed of Empires is crazy, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
This is the story of Carl, who is just a normal bloke, and he is living his everyday life. All of a sudden, Earth is world-shatteringly invaded, destroyed by aliens, and Carl finds his way into basically these tunnels below Earth, where he enters this new dimension, where he is having to basically go through a D&D dungeon crawling escape. He has to face, I think it's 20, is it 20 levels?
14?
He has to face
14.
a number of levels to get through alive, and all of this is televised. It's a lit RPG.
It is.
And it is so funny. You have Princess Donut here as a cat. She's a
Who,
great
when I
cat.
heard it's Princess Donut and it's a cat,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like that.
It didn't give me any hope.
It didn't. But then I've read it and she is incredible.
The delivery is incredible.
Like Royal Mail.
Like Royal Mail. Matt Dinniman is a fantastic author. The way that he has carved this kind of his name into this space of fantasy is incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
This is a book I would probably recommend to about 90% of people. That it's just so much fun. You cannot help but, you know, just go on the roller coaster of this ride. It is so entertaining, and at the end of the day, the majority of reading is purely for entertainment.
Yeah.
So this really does tick those boxes. It's got a great cast. It's absolutely bonkers. It's got a really interesting kind of leveling up progression system, which I find fascinating. And it's just hilarious. Like the things that Matt Dinniman's come up with, they're funny in such just a mental way.
They are.
And it's always fun. So yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl, I'm loving going through them at the moment, but I do think this is the best of the series so far. I've read 4 of them. And none of them have quite captured the magic and the sense of wow as book 1 for me. I find that a lot of the time when you're reading book 1, you kind of explore something for the first time.
Your first introduction, not
Very
quite sure
exciting.
what to expect.
But yeah, dive into it because it's so good, and try the audio as well.
So there we go. They are the books we're talking about today. We will have a part 2, our very favourite books of the decade, coming out quite soon. But this is part 1. Let us know some of yours. What are the ones you're expecting to see in the next video? And what are your favourite reads of the 2020s so far?
Big questions. Stay safe. Truth and courage.
The Brothers Gwynne.
The Brothers Gwynne.